Good morning, my magnificent entrepreneurs. Are you ready to learn some law and make some money? Today we're going to talk about the court system and alternative dispute resolution, which is also known as ADR. In order to give you a good grasp of what happens in the court system, we're going to make you an imaginary plaintiff. Suppose someone has done something wrong to you, they've cheated you in your business somehow, and now you're suing them, and so you are the plaintiff, and you go to see a lawyer and you want to sue one of your classmates in the class here, an imaginary student that we'll call George. And the first question that you ask yourself when you're deciding whether or not to file a lawsuit is, can I afford the cost of taking this case to court? Because maybe you're suing the guy, maybe George cheated you out of $10,000 or $20,000. And this is a big problem because, you can easily spend $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 in legal expenses, court costs, and attorney's fees just prosecuting the average civil lawsuit. And so most of us do not have $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 laying around that we can afford to pay to a lawyer as a retainer to have that lawyer represent us in a lawsuit. So one of the sad results of this high cost of prosecuting a civil trial is that most of us in the American middle class, we do not really have access to the justice system. We only have the illusion of access to the justice system because we can't afford it. And that's bad news, because when more and more people in the American middle class wake up one day and discover that they don't have real access to the justice system, then respect for the justice system is going to deteriorate rapidly, and we may descend into some form of chaos or anarchy. So it's a big problem that the current cost of prosecuting civil lawsuits is out of control, and something's got to be done to get the cost of civil lawsuits back under control. In the meantime, however, it's not that you don't have any access to the justice system at all. You may be able to hire a lawyer who's willing to work for you on what is called a contingency fee basis. So you don't have you don't have $30,000 or $40,000 to pay to a lawyer to represent you in the lawsuit, but the lawyer says, well, I know I'm going to get paid. Fairly often this happens in an automobile accident or a personal injury type case where we know there's liability insurance on the other side, and the lawyer says, well, if I win the case, I know I'll get paid because there's a pocket full of money over there with the insurance company, so I'll take your case and I won't charge you anything up front, but if I win, I get a percentage of your recovery. Typically the percentage it's negotiable, it's not set by law, but it's typically 33% of whatever's recovered if you settle the case before going to trial, 40% if the case goes all the way to trial, and 50% if the case goes all the way up through an appeal. So it's a big chunk of money that you're going to lose to the lawyer and the court costs if you win the case, but at least you get into court that way. Now the bad news is just about everybody in the middle class who wants to sue somebody, but they cannot afford to pay the money up front. They want lawyers to do all kinds of cases on contingency fee, and most experienced lawyers will not take any kind of case on contingency fee other than a personal injury type case where they know there's insurance on the other side, because there's any experienced lawyer you talk to has a big drawer somewhere full of big judgments that they won in court that are worthless pieces of paper because the people on the other side had no money, and so even though they won the lawsuit, they never recovered any money on the judgment. So the first question you ask is, can I afford to get a lawyer and prosecute this case? The second question that you ask is, if I win the case, am I going to recover anything, or is this going to be all a wasted effort? Maybe you've got a clear-cut case of a guy that cheated you in a business transaction, but the guy is broke, he's teetering on bankruptcy, he has no assets, if you sue him and you win a judgment for $1 million, is that going to end up being a worthless piece of paper? If it is, it's not a good business decision for you to sue that guy. So these are the two questions you ask. Can I afford it? And secondly, if I win, am I actually going to recover any money? Are there any assets? Is there any insurance on the other side of the suit? The next question you ask is, well, can I get my case into court? Because not every time that someone has wronged you do you have the legal right to take the case to court. Whether or not you can get your case into court and which court you can get into is based on three different things: jurisdiction, venue, and standing. Okay, so let's look at the issues of jurisdiction and venue first, and then we will look at the issue of standing.